Hello, this is Aftermath Review, and welcome to the second episode of the Secret Lover podcast, the 500,000th podcast in the video gaming industry that talks about video games, but is actually getting a second episode. But what would a good podcast be without a co-host? I don't know. Ask Raiden. Raiden, how are you?
What's up? I'm pretty good, and how are you?
I am awesome. How are you? Wait, I just asked that.
Stop asking me. There's only so many times I can tell you that I'm fine.
Okay, cool. You're fine. Well, that's a rare occurrence. Last time you tried to kill yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I feel a lot better. It must be because of the break. I've quit my job, my last one, ever since the last episode, and I've been enjoying a little bit of a vacation for me. So my suicidal thoughts have decreased significantly.
I see. That's what happens when you work for an American company. So let's go right onto the fray, right? What did you play this week?
Oh, this week it was mostly about playing old games on the PlayStation 4. So I platinumed Minecraft, got the platinum trophy for that, and I also platinumed Guacamelee.
Oh, Guacamelee, that's a good game. Um, well, what the full games did you play then?
What new games I played?
No, old games, except
okay.
you say Guacamelee and old games.
Those are the two games I mean, because I played a whole lot of Minecraft on PC, so when it came out on PS4 and PS3, I already have those versions. I just went ahead and did all the achievements so that I can get the platinum trophy. It's just like stuff like find a diamond or shoot a skeleton from 50 meters away. That kind of stuff. So this took me a little bit, but ultimately I managed to get it. And then I also did the same thing for Guacamelee on PS4, which is the Super Mega Turbo Championship Edition of the game. That's actually what they're calling it.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, the thing is, I actually already have one platinum trophy for Guacamelee when I first played it on Vita, way back in February, I think. And after that, the new edition, the new Super Mega Trophy Championship Edition on PS4, it has a completely new trophy set and a new platinum trophy. So I went ahead and did that one as well. So right now, I have two platinum trophies for Guacamelee, which is
Alright. Why don't you tell the people your carrot story? Because I think there was a carrot story, a sheep story, something like that. I don't remember. And you told that in the chat. It was pretty funny.
Sheep story?
Yeah. You had to find something in Minecraft, and you didn't really find it for a really long time.
Oh, right. Okay, so basically I had to. One of the achievements is to bake a cake.
Yeah.
What I had to do, people who have played Minecraft know this, but what you have to do to bake a cake is that you need three pieces of wheat, or wheat. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I think it's wheat. But yeah, basically you need three pieces of wheat, one egg, some sugar, and what was it? And some milk. And some milk as well. So you need all these products, and then you craft the cake out of that. So I've got my own wheat farm. I've got my own cow farm for the milk. I've got plenty of sugar. Only thing I don't have is an egg, because there are no chickens in my world. Not even a single one. So at least not in the regions that I have explored yet. So I go on this epic quest on this gigantic map. Basically, the maps for Minecraft on PS4 are 32 times bigger than the maps on PS3 and Vita. So,
well, obviously.
Yeah, it's like 32 times. That's gigantic. The map on PS3, I thought it was already pretty big. I mean, it's not like limitless like on PC, but I already thought that PS3 is pretty big, and now it's like I've got this world that's 32 times bigger, and I had to go all over it, like the entire world, just over and over and over again. And there were absolutely no chickens anywhere. I can't get the egg. There's just no way. So my option was to basically either keep looking, or to just start a new game and start everything from scratch and try to make a cake there to get a trophy. But I was persistent. I was like, there is absolutely no way that there can be any chickens in there. I kept searching, and eventually I managed to find this one chicken in the jungle. There's like a single chicken. Usually animals in Minecraft tend to travel in packs. When you find a pig, chances are there's like 3 or 4 more pigs around it. When you find a cow, there's a few more cows around there. But this chicken was just alone by itself. So I tried feeding it, and it gives me a message saying that you can't feed this, you can't breed this chicken. You know, when you feed the chickens, you basically breed them. They give birth into chicks. So it says you can't breed this chicken because the limit for chickens in this world has already been reached.
Oh god.
Exactly. I've traveled the entire world, saw this one chicken, and basically what the game is telling me is that there's like 100 more chickens in this world that are just basically hiding somewhere. And I have no idea where they are. So I'm sticking around this chicken, not turning off my game to avoid resetting it, and I'm just staring it for about 15 minutes maybe, just watching it, following it everywhere, until it finally laid this one single egg, so that I could bake my cake with it. And I did it, and it was a very delicious cake, I think. But yeah, basically this was my epic quest to find a chicken in Minecraft, which lasted for like 3 or 4 hours. It was crazy.
That, yeah, indeed. So, you went on a chicken genocide because you had too much chickens, but you never seen one. Well, that's fair, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it fair exactly. I mean, I have no idea what happened. I mean, there's, I had absolutely no problem. I saw cows everywhere. Like everywhere I went, there were cows, and I already bred like 10 or 15 in my place. So I don't know what's the maximum amount of chickens that you can have in the world in Minecraft, but I'm guessing it's about 100. And I only ever saw one. So there's about like 99 chickens out there somewhere in the world that I didn't meet at all. I'm guessing that there's like the secret underground club just for chickens that I never found it, you know?
Yeah.
So what did you play?
Well, I played a lot of luftrausers and Raise the Sun and League of Legends.
Of course.
Well, of course. And, well, that's about it, really. I can't recall playing anything else.
I don't know, practically everybody I know is playing League of Legends and or Dota, most likely both. But I don't really know anything about the other games you mentioned, so why don't you tell me a bit more about them?
I will do that, but I will firstly dodge the question and do something else and say I usually play Dota as well, but this time I'm around to playing League of Legends because of my girl. I can't really commit to Dota anymore. Dota's taking more commitment. Anyway, Luftrausers, Raise the Sun. Really simple. But let me ask you a question first. Do you know those iPhone games like Temple Run Stylish, where you have like three missions every time you start it? It's like run that long, or use that power for that time, or get that amount of coins, or slap the fuck out of that amount of dudes.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's basically what you can apply to both of those games as well. They have both that system. Now, let's start with Raise the Sun, because that's simpler. Raise the Sun. Well, simply, you raise the sun. You are a solar vehicle which raises the sun. And it's feeling really fast. Like, basically what you do is, you're just using left and right, and it's three-dimensional from the optics. It's very polygonish. And you can just there's the wall left and right. So the stages are basically, if you go left all the time, you may as well be on the starting point at one point again, but they endlessly scroll, so you can just press left all the time. And some missions are just going through a level with just pressing left, for example, you know.
Wait a second, so you're like literally racing the sun, like the sun is right there next to
But
you?
when the sun goes down, you have no energy left, and that's when you game over. Yes.
Okay, so you need to stay close to the sun.
Yes, you need to be faster than the sun.
Wait, well, what if you go way ahead of the sun?
Well, you can't go ahead of the sun. You're just always slower than the sun, and there are boost power-ups which gives you closer to the sun. And there's also things like portals which gives you to sub-dimensions where there is no sun, but you don't need energy to fly. Basically, in that sub-dimension, if you come out of it, you're the closest to the sun you can get. Basically, that's how it is.
Oh, I see. So, okay, so it doesn't really sound like a traditional racing game to me. It's more like an arcade thing.
It's really an arcade game. It's a score crawler. You basically get points by collecting points during your flight and how long you fly. You get power-ups like jumping or being faster for a while, which helps you getting to the sun. If you happen to go off the sun before the sun goes down, like if there's a tall building in front of you, you are not in the sun anymore. You unload your energy. You're slower. The sun is faster down. There's a lot to watch for, but in general, the game really feels good and fast. fast because it scrolls all the time. Now, the thing is, what I said with scrolling is, as said, if you go right all the time, there's no wall. In no level there's going to be a wall, except the level has a wall at that certain point, but if you wait 10 seconds and then you go right again, there's no wall anymore. At one point you will be at the starting position again, so it's feeling fast that you can just turn wherever you want, and the levels you can explore, because basically you'll miss a couple of things on your first couple of playthroughs. Now, the game is cool because the level's always the same. Now, that sounds boring, doesn't it? No, there's a leaderboard option, and with the leaderboard comes the so-called world changer. Every 24 hours, a complete new set of maps is generated. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's just completely changing what you know next day. So if you log in again, you have a complete other track to run. It could be harder, it could be easier, there could be more portals, less portals, more boosts, less boosts, but generally speaking, there's enough boosts to come through all the time. You just need to find them. That's where the trial and error is coming from, but knowing where the boosts are, how you reach them the best, knowing which power-ups to pick up, where the portals are, and how to raise the sun. And that's where the fun is coming from. And you can unlock power-ups like magnets, magnet upgrades in every game there is ever, by just making those objectives, like only turning left. You always get 3 of them. Or only turning left, or only turning right, or getting 25 modifier, and things like that. It's really cool. It's really fast. It has a really great soundtrack. It's really simple graphically, but it has high fidelity because it really, as I said, it's really fast. It's not slow.
Nice. This kind of reminds me of this game called Oli Oli. Ever heard of it?
No.
I think it's a PlayStation exclusive, like on Vita, PS3, and PS4.
Of course it is.
Yeah, basically, you have, it's basically like this skateboarding simulator, which is actually very arcadey. I mean, it's all about making tricks and doing tricks and stuff, like pixelated graphics and that kind of thing. But the thing that reminds me of Raise the Sun is that every day you have this this thing called daily grind. So you have this a daily basically a different map that you need to grind on every day. Like every day you have a different one where you need to get the high score for it. But the thing is that you only get to play the daily grind once. I mean, you can practice on it as many times as you want, but you have only one time. You can only record your score one time. You can only get it, try it for real one time, and after that you can't play it anymore.
Oh.
So, yeah, so basically there's like a different leaderboard just for these daily grinds.
Oh yeah, that sounds similar, but I guess the game isn't quite the same. So let's move on to the next great game I've played, which is Luftrausers, also in the Humble Indie Bundle, by the way. Luftrausers is basically also giving you 3 missions, but the game is different. Like, you know Dogfight, this old game where you have the weird control airplane, which you can do cool turns with and you just shoot? Yeah, that's Luftrausers. Just Luftrausers is cooler because you get missions like kill 20 enemies, blah. You get skulls for them, and skulls unlock new parts, and some parts are really weird, like 5 shots but massive drawback. That means if you shoot, you're suddenly stopping and going back 10 meters. Then you start moving again. Things like that. Or laser cannons, which makes it turn really slow. Or iron cannons, which shoot really slow but kill everything. Or you can change your body. You move slower but have more health. Or you can fly through enemies without getting damage, or you can go dip into water without getting damage, or you just die and everything explodes because you're a nuke body, basically. And you can also get new engines. For example, no gravity, which means that you accelerate really slow, but then you have no gravity. That means you can just, I don't know, you just ignore gravity. It's just, you don't need to accelerate anymore. The moment you turn, you just go everywhere. It's just really fun. And you can make your combinations that you always get depending on which part you use, different missions. And if you have every mission done, then every mission done is changed to this new mission unlocks the moment you kill a blimp. A blimp is basically a big Luftschiff. Those airships like the Graf Zeppelin.
Yeah, I know what a blimp is.
Yeah, a blimp. And the blimp is really fucking hard to beat. It's like the boss, and when you kill it, you get a new set of unlocks, which I don't actually have yet. And it's really awesome. And the blimp is the game just goes on and on and on. And as long as you survive, as more different enemy types come, as stronger enemy types come, as more blimps come, as more battleships come. And it has a great soundtrack as well. It just feels great. I don't know. It's just so arcadey. It's so good. The graphics as well, only pixel art, but it's good pixel art.
Nice. Okay, sounds pretty fun. Well, if they were in the indie bundle, then chances are that I already have them as well. I usually buy pretty much almost every single window.
Yeah, I asked you for the Racist Sun code, but you didn't ever respond, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy it myself. I don't have money for prison anti-tech, but who needs that? It's a bad game. I wish I would be rich. I wanted this humble indie bundles entertainment system.
The thing is, I don't really have a lot of money. Like, everybody who comes to my house and sees all of my consoles and my Steam library with 650 games and whatever, they're like, dude, you must be super rich. And the thing is, I'm actually not. I'm actually, I'm not poor by any means, but...
Yes, you are.
Okay, yeah, I'm from Bulgaria, so, that's... By American standards, I'm actually very poor. But the thing is, I spend...
I'm from Germany.
You just gotta rub it in my face, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. You deserve that. For being born in a better country. The thing is, I spent every single cent I have ever owned, I spend it on games, and that kind of stuff. So, when I have all these consoles, that means that I haven't bought something else, So, some people buy cars, or motorcycles, or clothes, or whatever. I don't really buy those things, I just buy games and consoles, and that's all there is to it. Those 650 games that I have, most of them, like 95% of them, are taken from bundles. That's why I've only played about, I don't know, 30% of all my games, because the rest of them just aren't very appealing to me because I didn't really buy them. They were just in $1 bundles that I got,
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, the thing is, most of my Steam library is just on those. So I generally try to get as many of these because I know that even though I'm only going to be playing like 30% of all the games that I have, these 30% might be very good. Some hidden gems that I otherwise wouldn't discover. Like, that's actually the way how I discovered Hotline Miami. The way I played Hotline Miami is that I got it from an indie bundle a few years back. No, it wasn't 2 years. Half a year, something like that. And, just like, oh, Hotline Miami, that looks kind of fun, let me try it. And now it's one of my favorite games of all time. So, it's important to, if you have this opportunity to buy a lot of games for cheap, even though you're not absolutely interested in most of these games, I think it's still important to buy them and give them a shot at least,
Yeah, I guess so. Well, it depends. It's I don't know how the Humble Indie Bundle or just bundles in general work, but let's just assume the worst, and you can just sign up for it. So you're either really, really sturdy to get your game to an audience if it's bad, or you just like to give your game out for nearly free. But it could be bad as well. They could have just applied a couple of times and be lucky.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the way I kind of see it is more like, it's more about exposure rather than it's about sales, It's the same thing as with PlayStation Plus, where developers give away their games for free in exchange for like a very small fee from Sony. Basically, they're not really earning revenue, but they are earning a lot of notoriety. Because if before you have like 5,000 fans, if you put your game on PlayStation Plus, or on an indie bundle, and it's good, suddenly you don't have any sales, but you have 50,000 fans, 500,000 fans, or more. Most cases it's more than that. And that's like 100 times more than your original fan base, which is invaluable. It's amazing, because when you release your next game, or the sequel, or you have some DLC that is paid and isn't part of the bundle or PlayStation Plus, people are going to buy that. You're going to get recognition. And in a world that is so oversaturated by indies, recognition is basically what you need.
What? I don't think that the gaming world compared to the book world is ever going to be oversaturated, is it? There's maybe some genres which are going to be oversaturated by 5 years from now, if nobody touches them when it's not saturated anymore. With not saturated anymore, I will completely forgotten and people will go back to the classics because, be honest, in 20 years nobody's gonna give a shit about Call of Duty because it's a multiplayer game and nobody will play it.
Well, Call of Duty isn't really an indie game,
I see where you go.
No, I was just talking about, the indie games, because right now there are so many indie games right now.
Well, yes, but still, nobody's giving a shit about Fest in 10 years anymore. Sorry for Fish if you ever hear this. Nobody's giving a shit about, I don't know, Dogs of Wars. Nobody's giving a shit about Dead Bits. It's just not gonna happen. And
yeah, exactly.
I think indies from now are the abandonware of the future. The thing is, in 10 years you can still buy them, which makes them no abandonware, and that's where you can discover all the hidden gems. That's where you see OTC reviews and let's plays, and you see, oh, this game could be fun. And basically, indies are the old schools of today in tomorrow, which is weird, really, if I put it that way.
Yeah, basically. The thing about indies is that, they are very much dependent on Sturgeon's law, like 90% of all indie games are shit. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that to offend people who work on indie games, because I've worked on indie games myself, and my own indie games were shit, I admit that. But the thing is, to make an actual video game, it's probably the hardest thing you can possibly do. People always say, making movies is a miracle because there's so much hard work involved.
Oh, because they're so expensive. Well, ever seen an indie movie? Yeah, I think everyone has seen one indie movie. It's called The Fucking Room.
Yeah, it's the greatest movie of all time.
Well, it's the greatest bad movie of all
It's
time.
about The Room, man.
I don't diss The Room. We're gonna watch it at one point together on the couch. And you promised that it's gonna happen, so make it happen.
It's absolutely going to happen. But yeah, the thing is, everybody can make a movie, right? Everybody can grab a camera, get some friends together, and make a movie. Not everybody can make a good movie, of course, but everybody can make a movie. I can make a movie even though I've never held a camera in my life before. Not everybody can make a game. If you grab some random guy on the street and tell him make a movie, he can do it. If you grab the same guy and tell him make a game, you can't. It will be impossible. He won't know where to start, how to code the game, how to, you gotta worry about the music, you gotta worry about the art, the programming, the design, the storyline. There's like so many elements that a regular person wouldn't be able to do at all. Not even properly, just at all. So making an indie game is a lot harder than making an indie movie. So I don't want to diss indie developers by saying, no, your game is shit, because just for they deserve recognition just for the fact that they have made the game. But at the end of the day, the thing that will be remembered, the thing that matters most is quality. It's objective quality. 50 years from now, all these shit games, even though each of them is a small miracle on its own, they won't be remembered. They won't stay relevant. It's the 10%, the indie games that are actually worth playing. It will be stuff like Minecraft, stuff like Hotline Miami, which will remain, which will be remembered, which will be played in the future when Steam is like a thing of the past. So the thing is, you just have to dig really deep and find these 10%, because right now there aren't too many ways for you to do it other than to play a whole lot of indie games.
Yeah, well, that is true. But as I said again, Steam reviews are doing their thing, and if somebody in 10 years says, alright, I'm 16 years old, I have $100 to waste, I don't want to buy Call of Duty 20,570,000, I'd rather as well buy some indie games. I want tactic games. What do you have for tactic games? That game is 10 years old, but... Oh, yeah, everyone says it's cool, I'm just gonna check it out, I guess. Sees gameplay, sees indie game, buys indie game.
Yeah, exactly. And in the future, maybe indie games will be even cheaper than they are now. I mean, those old titles. Like, 10 years from now, do you still think that, luftrausers is going to cost, like, $20 or whatever? It's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be like $1 at best without a sale, Or it's going to be like on a permanent sale. It's just...
Well, the biggest problem I have is, like, I don't think that indie games ever get outdated. Let's be fair, because I sincerely believe that in 10 years, Call of Duty is gonna be sold. Like, it's not gonna be abandoned. I'm talking about the old Call of Duty, the Call of Duty we have now, like Ghost, etc. Like, in 10 years, it's still gonna be sold. Nobody's gonna give a shit about it because the single player sucked. But an indie game, like, let's again take Eats Munchies, because I just barely won't say fast at this point, it's still gonna be selling something at 10. Maybe only a game per half a year. But the thing is, it's not getting outdated, because it's not a multiplayer game.
Yeah,
and every game is nowadays selling on multiplayer, so...
No, the thing is, the abilities of indie game designers. No, I'm talking about the average indie game developer. I'm not talking about people like Ninja Theory or Telltale, which are technically indie, but they release retail games. No, I'm talking about like the average indie game maker. their abilities keep growing constantly. Right now, the games that an average person can make, an average game developer can make, are close to the quality of the things that we played 10, 15 years ago. You know, anybody that knows how to work on RPG Maker can make a game that looks and plays like Final Fantasy. The other ones, you know. So the thing is, in 10 years, people are going to be making games which are close to the quality of the retail games that we had in like 2004, 2005. So like those are PS2 quality 3D games, you know?
I think we're actually gonna catch up quicker than you believe, because we have seen what you can do with Unity, and you can do full AAA production with Unity. We just gotta find indie people who are willing to work for free on something as qualitative as that.
Oh, no, I'm thinking like when people were working on Final Fantasy V, for example, there was like a gigantic team. Final Fantasy VI was actually made for like, I think only between 8 months and a year, something like that. They made the entire Final Fantasy VI game because they had this gigantic team working on it. Absolutely huge. Like most of Square Enix at the time was working for it. Wait, is it? No, I think it was just Square. They hadn't merged with Enix back then, did they? I think it was just Square back then, but never mind, that's not important. Basically, most of the company was working on Final Fantasy VI. Those are like hundreds and hundreds of people working on this one single 2D game. And right now, a single person can make a game which looks and plays just like Final Fantasy VI, you know?
True, but you know what, the thing is, I could do that as well. It's called RPG Maker, and Final Fantasy VI is good.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. So maybe, 10, 15 years from now, a single person is going to be able to make a game that looks and plays like God of War.
True.
Hey, that's what I mean, because of course if you have a large enough team of indie people, you can make everything. I mean, that's not the point here, that's not what I'm trying to talk about.
That's true.
So yeah, that was an interesting discussion about the future of indies. But how about we move on to the present of gaming?
Yeah, you mean the news?
Yep, it's time for some news.
The news, okay, alright. Let's take the fairly obvious one ahead. I mean, it has been a week, but we have delayed this podcast. I'm just gonna start and say Mojang has been bought by Microsoft. Everybody knows it at this point, but in case you haven't known it already, that's kind of a big deal, because Notch also resigned from his job at Mojang because of that. And also, he said if he ever does something great again, he's gonna just abandon it instantly. And now we have a problem, because Notch has a reputation and he will always make big things. It's not gonna be something small, no matter what he makes.
I don't know. You know, the thing is, this purchase to me is kind of pointless. Because Minecraft wasn't made by Mojang. Minecraft was made by Notch.
Yes.
Notch was the main person, the main driving force, the main talent behind this game. And with him gone, we really have to ask the question: what has Microsoft actually bought?
They had both Scrolls. That's the second game from Mojang, which is really good. But it's not a nice free-to-play model. It's just not really good.
Yeah, I mean, just no. Think about it. Like, with where is Minecraft going to go now? Now, Notch isn't there anymore. He can't bring his creative vision anymore, and I'm sure that there's some people there who can continue to develop the game and put updates and all that kind of stuff. But really, where do you go from here? Where do you develop Minecraft further when it's when the person who made this entire experience is no longer working on it? What more do you add to the game when you no longer know which direction the game is supposed to be headed in?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they didn't really purchase anything. They didn't purchase Notch, which is, I believe, the deal they really wanted, to purchase Notch.
Yeah, exactly.
But the problem is Notch resigned, so that's bad. They purchased nothing, and, well, let's just say one thing. I can assume that in 6 months from now, Minecraft will feature Dante from Devil May Cry. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, basically, Microsoft...
Oh, you missed that, didn't you?
What?
I said 6 months from now, Minecraft will feature Dante from Devil May Cry. You missed that.
That isn't owned by Microsoft.
Dude, it was the joke. I have seen.
Wait. Do you know what Minecraft does feature right now only on Xbox?
What then?
Doctor Who.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
There's a DLC exclusive to Xbox that is that has a Doctor Who, and there's another Xbox exclusive DLC that has the Avengers. Just like PlayStation, the PlayStation versions have exclusive DLC that features like people from PlayStation franchises, like Uncharted.
Oh, you mean nobody cares about that? You're right.
Yeah, basically, Microsoft doesn't really have stuff like from their own franchise in there. You can't play as Master Chief in the Xbox version, I think, but you can play as Doctor or as a Dalek.
Oh, you can play as a Dalek. Do you have a Zapper as well? Like zap that, zap that. That's just a fucking cheat. Anyhow, so it's 2 minutes till the next lottery, and somebody else is trying to get me into Kencola. So wish me luck at this point. Where was I saying? Oh yeah. What? Now the reason I made that joke is because I've seen a Photoshop picture which has a lot of MLG and Snoop Dogg in it, but it also said "Mind You" Doritos version, featuring Dancer from Devil May Cry. I was like, oh yeah, that could work now. That could work now. By the way, just one thing I want to strike, a little discussion maybe. I don't think we could fill the rest with news anyway. But have you realized that in the last few weeks and months, a lot more developers decide to go for multi-platform? I mean, most notably, obviously, is Hideo Kojima going for PC, and Final Fantasy going for Xbox again, although it fucking failed. That's pretty notable. And do you have any clue why? I mean, I have a clue, but I want to hear your opinion first.
Money.
Money, yeah, obviously. It's making more money.
Yeah, the thing is, Metal Gear Solid 5 is a very expensive game. Like, you have no idea. This might be one of the most expensive games ever made. I'm absolutely sure that it's more expensive than Grand Theft Auto 5. And that one had a budget of like $500 million. I'm absolutely sure that the budget for Metal Gear Solid 5 is at least $700-800 million. I'm absolutely sure. But they obviously want to make more money on it than they have invested into it. So thus far, every single Metal Gear Solid game has been an exclusive to PlayStation. Like we've got Metal Gear Solid 1, which was no, actually.
There was Nintendo Metal Gear Solid as well, but we don't talk about that.
So let me rephrase that. Every single Metal Gear Solid game after Metal Gear Solid 3 has been exclusive to Sony and PlayStation. You know, they just started to break this exclusivity recently when they released the HD collection, which for the first time brought Metal Gear Solid 3 to Xbox, and now we're breaking it again with Metal Gear Solid 5.
Which is bringing the whole thing to computer. Which is good, because the game will really shine on computer, no offense, but I think that the computer version will look a little bit better, because the Fox engine really is an engine that takes the most out of your system.
Yeah, well, possibly. No, the thing about the Fox engine is that it's supposed to look good even on bad hardware. Like, the PlayStation 3 version of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes looked pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just saying it could look better on computer. And you would be kind of delusional if you say no.
No, I can't decide. I can't say anything right now without knowing the specs. You know, I can't say it's going to look better, and I can't say it's going to look worse, because a lot of games which are multi-platform, they don't look much better on PC than they do on console. Like, if you take, for example, Watch Dogs.
Yeah, Watch Dogs was tweaked intentionally, okay? We already figured that out.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of, because making the game look better on PC means putting more money into the PC version, and not everybody can afford that. So
I don't think you don't quite understand what they did with Watch Dogs. They didn't actually. They actually just disabled the features they showed at E3 on the PC version. They were in the game. They weren't just not activated at that point. You do realize that, right?
Yeah, well, now I just gave Watch Dogs as an example. You know, I'm talking about the final product that they released.
Yeah.
Because the extra features, they weren't unlocked there by the developers. They were unlocked by a mod. I'm talking about like the retail the retail product. If you go to the store and buy the PS4 version of Watch Dogs and the PC version of Watch Dogs and put them both inside a computer on your PS4 side,
They will look the same, yeah, but that's
exactly.
but then again, it was because of a fucking hardware lock. And then again, I know it sounds weird and I'm gonna keep on about this, but the files were in the game. It's not like it came from nothing. It was in the game.
But I'm just saying that this is like an exception. Maybe I gave a bad example here.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, most games aren't. No, there's games like Dishonored, which have put a lot of money into making the PC versions as well as they can. So they've got these super crazy resolutions on which you can play them.
Well, that looks. Well, let's be honest. The super crazy resolutions, they kind of do look cool.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, most games that are multi-platform aren't like that.
Yeah, that's true. And I totally agree with you on that. But the thing is, I don't really give a shit. I mean, I'm just saying the Fox Engine could look better on computer because the Fox Engine is demanding it. It's supposed to look good on computers with on bad hardware. Doesn't mean it isn't supposed to look good on computers with better hardware.
Again, maybe there's a limit to how good it can actually look. You know, it doesn't just because you have a computer that is objectively more powerful than a PS4. It doesn't mean that the game is going to look better than the PS4 version. You know.
Yeah, that's true. I don't totally disagree with you on that. I'm just saying it could be, man.
Good, yeah.
Like for example, Metal Gear Rising had a better resolution, if I recall correctly.
Maybe I don't know about that one, but
Yeah, we had 1080p and we had no like, so I believe it was 720 on consoles. Yeah, but it was last gen. I'm gonna completely ignore that because last gen happens, and last gen is last gen. And Metal Gear is
on last gen you can't really have a 1080p resolution at 60 frames per second.
That depends on the game, really. You could have with Strider, but Strider's not very demanding.
Is Strider really 1080p on PS3?
I think it's a computer. That's why. I think it could easily be done on PS3 as well.
I don't think so because the thing is, no, it's very demanding on the processor to have both 1080p resolution and 60 frames per second. And for when it comes to Metal Gear Rising in particular, it was the game just had to play at 60 frames per second. It just wasn't going to be the same at 30.
Yeah, that's true.
So they sacrificed the bigger resolution for the speed, and I think it really worked in the game's favor because it's not a bad looking game by any means.
I don't disagree. Whatever. I just wanted to know why the multi-platform happened, and I hope you gave me an.
Basically it's all about money. They're trying to recuperate their losses. That's the same reason why they released Ground Zeroes as a standalone title rather than as part of the Phantom Pain like they had before. They just need to make some more money on this to not make the total loss, you know?
Why didn't they just make a Kickstarter? Like, I don't know. I don't think like everyone that gets Kickstarter gets Ground Zeroes for free. Like I don't know if you have heard it, but Citizen has raised 42 million on a name alone. I think Hideo Kojima can top that easily because he's not only selling a name, he's also selling a freaking product.
Well, that's exactly what he did here. Basically, you can think of it this way. Imagine that there's a Kickstarter that never happened, and everybody who donated $30 for it got Ground Zeroes for free, and also supported the development of the Phantom Pain. That's basically what happened.
Yeah, pretty much. But whatever. The thing is, with Phantom Pain, people have a legitimate reason to nag on it, while if they would have just done a Kickstarter, they wouldn't have a reason to nag on it.
People want to complain about everything, and when it comes to Ground Zeroes, it has been getting very ridiculous. Like, there was this guy who managed to speedrun the mission in 5 minutes, and he uploaded it to YouTube, and the comments were like, "Oh my god, look at this game! You can beat it in 5 minutes. Why should I spend $30 on something like that?"
You're not supposed to beat it in 5 minutes. It's not a long game by any stretch of the imagination. It's a little bit repetitive if you take everything, but it's still not 5 minutes. It's an hour, maybe 2.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just the main mission. There's actually like 6 or 7 different missions in the game,
Which are all kind of the same.
No, they're not. They're actually not.
I think so. Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, does it? So let's just go into the next news, and that's what you. I know what you're going at, but I think if we talk about this any longer, and I know your next news is about Metal Gear Solid anyway, then
Let's talk about a different Metal Gear Solid. You know,
yeah, let's talk about the real Metal Gear Solid 5.
Phantom Pain. Okay, basically, TGS just happened, and they released so much information about the game. Like, it is insane. With every trailer that they release, I'm like, dude, that's it. They showed everything from the game. There is nothing more to it that they can possibly show. They can only announce a release date. They didn't announce a release date this time, but they showed so much more stuff. Like, for example, they released like this 20-minute demo and also a story trailer for it, and also some additional stuff. But the most important thing that we need to talk about is that it was confirmed that Snake is now going to be able to bring in companions into the experience. So basically,
Like Quiet. I'm sorry, I
like
didn't want to
Quiet,
spoil
exactly, yeah. Quiet, who was previously thought to be a boss character, was now confirmed to be a companion which can scout out the areas and snipe enemies from a distance.
that. And she's hot, and she can't say no.
You're horrible.
That's not a joke. I'm pretty sure that's Snake's attention. The game is full of controversies, like 9/11. So chances are.
Oh yeah, well, most likely, yeah. But I mean, one of the trailers, like the very first trailer for the Phantom Pain that they released on E3 2013, it shows her getting tortured. And the new trailer from E3 2014 also shows her getting tortured, just in a different way. So, just Quiet isn't going to be a particularly happy person in the game. Then again, nobody is going to be very happy in this game.
That is true.
Yeah, back when the E3 trailer for 2014 came out, it was leaked early and then removed. So I was talking to one person who saw it, and I asked, okay, so what is this trailer all about? And they said, basically, Snake is sad and everybody around him is sad. That's what the trailer is all about. And after I saw the trailer, I kinda agree, that's what basically is Snake and people around him being sad for 5 minutes.
I see.
But yeah, anyway, let's what Kojima just tweeted about from an interview is that those companions that you bring in, which include Quiet and also a puppy that you can take, they can die, like for real.
Oh really?
Yeah, exactly. They can be killed and then they're gone.
Oh yeah, so Quiet can die outside the story, which means she's not important in the story. Alright, cool.
Yeah, I don't know how this will work. Maybe if they, I doubt that if she's like super important to the story, they would kill her off. So maybe if she dies in the game, you just can't use her again. You know, she's like super injured and can't.
Vegetative state.
I don't know. The thing is, hang on, let me try and find the exact quote for this. I have it in here somewhere.
I don't mind. I already figured out I could trick people into following me by dressing as a sexy box, which is the feature I'm gonna use the most. Gonna make my army out of enemies, and they're gonna use them and just point at something and say kill everything.
Okay, listen to this. Question: if a body takes too much damage, do they die? Kojima, yes. You mean they're dead for the rest of that mission, and they return to Mother Base wounded? No, they're dead. Period. Really? They die for real? So in that stage demo, if Quiet had died, she would be gone from the rest of the game. Kojima says that is correct.
Haha, alright, that's interesting.
Exactly, yeah.
That's really interesting because it could potentially change the story, and if that's the case, then Kojima, you are a motherfucking genius.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Kojima said that he doesn't want people to have vastly different experiences. Like, he was asked about how your choices affect the game, and because he said that choices will affect the storyline. So he was asked about different endings. Is because the first Metal Gear Solid game has 2 different endings, and he was asked if there would be the same thing here, and he said, I don't want people to have vastly different experiences. I don't want this to be like something like Mass Effect, where depending on what you do and play, the story is going to be unfold in completely different ways. But like the choices in the game, they're like small touches. Like in Ground Zeroes, he gave this example, and with like, if you rescue all of the prisoners before saving Chico, then you just save Chico, and then just take him away. But if you don't save the other prisoners, while you're saving Chico, the other prisoners are going to actually start banging on the cell and asking you to, you know, to let them out, begging for your help. They're going to attract the guards and that kind of stuff. So that's basically what he meant, what he was talking about when he said that the choices affect the story and the cutscenes.
So basically, you can fuck up not only by getting seen, but also by being a general asshole.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So you know, I don't know how he's going to give the same experience to a player who has had Quiet die in like the first mission, and to a player who has managed to keep her alive for the, you know, for the rest of the game. And another thing that is very important to note about these companions is that Snake manages to find this puppy that you've probably seen on the internet. He finds it when it's very, very small, and later can take it as a mission when it's fully grown and trained. Which means that the game is taking place at least over 1 year. It's not like in other Metal Gear Solid games where it takes place just like in like 1 day or 1 month or whatever. It's gonna take place for like a really, really long time. So
well,
interesting.
Okay, another good news, I finally have a Kentei Collection account, because the guy who wants to get me who's a real Japanese and hence has no legs, actually won the lottery. Nice.
Nice.
Yes, and the thing is, well, the reason, I just want to really quickly point that out, the reason I have no legs when playing this game, the lottery thing is, there's 100,000 people wants to get into the game, and how to I just gonna quickly point that out, how to register Kentei Collection. Kentei Collection actually has a Twitter account, which is Kentei Staff, and they post a day or twice a day when the next lottery is, and how much slots, like, let's say 8,000 slots, 20 seconds, 20 o'clock Japanese local time. And then that time the servers are overloaded and everyone can load it, and every 5 minutes you can refresh the page, and up to 8,000 people are getting an invite to any server. So that's why it's always lagging on my end. However, the thing is, you only need a VPN if you are not Japanese for that thing. Now, I could just use the API link, which is something many not programmers will not understand what it is, and install the Kentei Collection viewer. They don't never need a VPN anymore, which is why I won't lag, because my internet is shit.
Okay.
In other words,
yeah, I think I get what you're trying to say. Like, you're just pretending to be a Japanese citizen so that you can get into the
server. Yeah. Now I don't need to do that anymore. Now I actually have the account already, so I just can start it up anytime, and now it works. Cool.
Okay. Okay, so have you prepared more news for us?
Of course I have prepared more news for us. The thing is, I'm just currently waiting which one is better. I am not quite sure. Which one do you want to listen to? The gaming news or the not as quite as much gaming news?
Give me gaming news.
Alright, I gotta give you gaming news, which is a video I really want to talk about, which is Clarion Call 4. Now, it's EVE Online again. Alright, okay, we got it. I'm a big EVE fan. But Clarion Call is a video which is released, and basically the premise of Clarion Call 4, there's a EVE Online alliance, which is called Rooks and Kings. Rooks and Kings is legendary for one thing. They usually bring the less numbers to the battlefield and win the fight. And that's what makes them good, because usually you win by bringing more numbers. And Clarion Call is their leader, talking in a very, very deep and very, very calm voice about their plans in a really enthusiastic way. Not saying, oh yeah, we do this and this, it's awesome, but more in a roleplay way, like, our fleet admiral has set up the trap like this, and explains what they do, and then they bang up some really great fleet in a cinematic experience. It's always half an hour to an hour. It's so great, and everyone who's remotely interested in EVE Online, even if you never played it, they should definitely watch Clarion Call, because everything is explained there. You don't need to understand anything about the game. If you got into it, then you will love it. It's like a mini movie about EVE Online, with HUD off and recorded, and everything's explained. It's tactical wars. It's so great. It's so glorious, and it has just released after a year of work, and it's definitely worth talking about. I can link it in the description. I probably will do so. The second thing I want to talk about, and the second thing I want to talk about is CK2, aka Crusader Knights 2, sells 1 million units. And that's a big deal, because that's the first Paradox game ever to sell more than 1 million units. Except Mountain Blade, but that is not for Paradox.
You mean Crusader Kings?
Yes.
Because you said Crusader Knights.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Crusader Kings 2 just sold the 1 millionth unit, which is really important to to Paradox Plaza, because Paradox maybe released Mountain Blade, but they didn't actually produce it. So that's the first homemade game that sold over 1 million. That's cool because when Paradox is a bigger name, yeah, because they do publish a lot. The main games like Hearts of Iron, etc., they are usually pretty niche, and Crusader Kings the only one with you could say mild mainstream success, because 1 million units on PC is usually quite a lot, especially because one thing Paradox never cares about is protection. You can literally fuck them without condoms on and you will get pregnant, or you just play the games online without having a real account. It's gonna work. You can connect to their servers, and they openly state they don't need to do that anyway because they trust their fans. And now they had mainstream success even after announcing that they don't need internet protection, and that's pretty great because 1 million units on PC is kind of good, even if they announce that they don't need any DRM.
Yeah.
So that's cool. The only DRM block you have is basically if you don't own the game, you can't go to the official modding forums. But then again, the real modding forums, which is ModDB, is always active to you. So.
Okay, sounds pretty good though. Like, no, I never really got into Paradox games, but you know I can understand why it's such a big deal that they finally sell a million units. I mean that's a lot. Can you imagine 1 million people who getting together and playing the same game is like a small nation, you know?
Yeah, it depends. You can choose really everything. You can even play in the Second World War as Albania. The thing is, you're probably not gonna succeed unless you tweak how much manpower you really have. But you have the right idea, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm happy for them.
What?
Sure, let's see.
Do you have any news as well? So otherwise, I can go ahead and give another piece.
I've got some more pieces of news. Basically, you know Square Enix?
Yeah, of course I know Square Enix.
Okay, you know what they're doing right now?
Final Fantasy 15?
Except for that. They're also making a new cloud gaming service that they're calling, I love this, they're calling it Shinra.
Oh, really? That sounds good.
Exactly. Yeah, so basically, what they do is like you pay a small fee, which is like, I think it's monthly, and then you can play various Final Fantasy games on your phone. They're directly streamed to your phone. You can play Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 13, and one more game.
13 on your phone? Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
How's that supposed to work? That game barely is working on my Xbox.
It's streaming, as I said.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Square Enix is actually the first company to pull through with that.
Second actually.
Okay.
Like Sony.
All right. Yes. Okay. Sony has done it before, but I mean, the first in-house company, like the first in-house company, the first one who does the games. That's what I mean.
Yeah. The first the first company that is actually making games. Yeah. Because and even before Sony, there have been several companies which have done the same thing on PC. Like I remember back in 2010, 2011, there were companies that did this.
Yeah, but it wasn't really successful. There's one streaming platform. I'm talking about in-house development. Like, they're doing it for their own games. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually if this works, this can be actually a very excuse me. I'm still a little sick. Okay, but basically, what this can be a very big deal because if this works, just imagine playing like something like Final Fantasy 15 on your phone. Just having it directly streamed to you. Just imagine playing all of these gigantic AAA games on your phone. Like this can lead to a revolution in gaming. Imagine like bringing a controller with you in your bag or in your pocket or whatever, and just whipping out your phone, putting it on a stand, and just playing video games wherever you want. Like your own PlayStation Portable, which is as powerful as the PlayStation 4.
Yes, that's awesome. Wait, does it work on smartphones as well, or only on PS Vitas?
Oh no, I think it's just like on basically you can the Square Enix program is like just for smartphones. No, it doesn't have it. It's not over on Vita.
Oh, well, you know how they would make so much money. If they would sell Shinra for like let's say 10 is fair, 10 a month, and then port that to smartphones, but because it's a smartphone and not a PS Vita, you can install every game for 80% off. They would make so much money with that. So much money.
Well, no, the thing is, you don't install them, it's all streaming.
Yeah, but I mean install with like it's imagine you have a smartphone and you pay your 10 as well a month. You can even use the same account, and you can just buy games for your smartphone. So basically, like 20% of the price, like you can say 530 for $5, and you can play it on your smartphone as well. Like I know this would be a little bit of a rip-off, but let's be fair, smartphones are doing that with us when they PC port a game. Also, it's really important to understand that it's usually an exclusive thing. So this would also come up for the exclusive breach costs, but also for the stream costs. It would be just making so much money because
Yep.
believe me, a lot of smartphone users are playing the SNES simulators with Final Fantasy on.
Yeah, well, there's actually already smartphone versions of most kinds of Final Fantasy games. You can buy 1 through 6 on your smartphone, no problem. And it's actually not just direct ports; they're actually remakes of the games. And like right now, I'm playing, casually. Just I haven't sat down to play it seriously, but in my spare time, I like to play Final Fantasy 6 on my phone, which is actually very, very good. It's like an updated re-release of the original Final Fantasy 6 on Super Nintendo. So if you want to buy these early Final Fantasy games and like own them on your phone, they're already available. But the thing is, this program is like designed to bring the newer Final Fantasy games, which there's no way in hell they would run on your phone. But through streaming. But the thing is, streaming and purchase, they don't exactly match. They don't. If you want to stream games, there's no way to make it work other than with a subscription service of some sort.
Yeah, that's true, because to be fair, it's pretty expensive to run that, and I think $10 a month is cheap if you can play everything as well, for free, as much as you want. It's fair. It's fair. It's really fair.
No, it would be for a service that offers everything. It would be way more than $10 a month, because right now with PlayStation Plus, it's you get like 5 or 6 games every month, and you pay $60 a year for it. So that's roughly $5 a month for a service to get that gives you every single game ever that would runs on your phone or on your Vita or on your PlayStation 4 or whatever. It would have to cost a lot more than that,
Yeah.
Not just $10, but
I'm just saying $10 because that's the average subscription thing you have.
I think something like, of course it also depends on how many games you have. If there's like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 13, then $10 a month sounds, pretty good. But once they start adding more games, imagine like having every single Final Fantasy game in there. Like, I'm not just talking about the main series. I'm talking about stuff like Crisis Core or Final Fantasy Adventure, those kinds of games.
Yeah.
Once you have them on your phone, then something like $15-20, maybe even $30 per month would be reasonable for them. Or perhaps maybe you can get like the option to rent every single game individually, or maybe like have different subscription plans. Like if you pay $10 a month, you get all the main Final Fantasy games. But if you pay $25 a month, you get every single Final Fantasy game. And if you pay $35 a month, you get every single Square Enix game, like including Chrono Trigger or The World Ends With You, also streamed on your phone, Just give the customer options. That's what's important here.
Alright.
But yeah, that's I'm sure that somebody smarter than
Well,
me can.
well, the thing is with streaming, the way streaming is working is well, there's a dedicated server, and the way it's working is that the server has capacities for every user, which is enough, and it needs more capacities for higher games. It's obvious. You connect to that server, you tell the server what game to load, and then a capacity of that server will load the game. It's not like those games are permanently loaded, and you just connect to a server which has to never load.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I mean, but that's why you can't really buy a game on that server.
Well, you can buy a license to play it forever and for free. That's what I mean. That would be cool. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, and that would make them a little bit money.
Yeah, but they can't guarantee that the servers are going to be up forever.
No, that's not true. That is true, yeah, but they can't guarantee that you will be able to play the game, or that you can at least download it if the servers go down.
How can you download Final Fantasy 13 on your phone?
Well, not at all. And if I think about it,
Exactly, yeah. I mean, just think about it. If you, what if you buy a permanent lifetime subscription for Final Fantasy 13 and then the servers go down? You would have basically wasted your money, and you have the right to sue Square Enix because they basically lied to you, and they know that. You know, that's why they would never do it. There would just be no way, no option to buy the game. The, the highest subscription plan that they would offer is one that would that would be like the maximum amount of time that are going to be sure that they'll be able to keep the servers up. So which would be about, I think, 1 year. They can't guarantee that they're going to keep the servers up after that 1 year has passed. Okay.
well, but to be quite honest, I don't think that Square Enix is going to go down anytime soon.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah, but they can't guarantee that they're going to be up either. You know, I mean, what if nobody buys those games? What if they have no money to keep the servers up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They would have to take them down eventually, and everybody who has paid for like after that 1 year is over, they would be basically screwed. They don't want to screw their customers.
That is true. That is true, but they can, yeah, if they guarantee that they will, yeah, that would be actually, oh god, that now I would have a system would make sense. Like, okay, let's take a face value, let's take $10 each month, yes? You can pay $120 at the start of each year, and every month that passes it's $10 less, and they can guarantee that it will have stayed until the end of that year. Now, everyone has the same contract, but you pay less if the year goes on, because you get less playtime. But at the end of the year, they can say whatever or not they are doing it for another year, and then you can renew that for the same amount of money. You don't have to pay 120 at face value, obviously, but you get the idea behind that, right?
Kinda.
Yeah, I think that would make the most sense, because that makes everyone fair, so everyone gets the same contract, but it costs less if you go in later, and everybody has a guarantee that it will work till that period, and Square Enix will openly announce if it works after that. And what they can do is they can let you download the save games, because what you can do is putting save games on your PlayStation easily. So if it ever goes down, you can at least download your save games. I think that would be fair. Now that is an example of how it could work, but that's what I have in mind now. So that would be a nice guarantee, and I think that would be also a nice way to do things. And if I would have a streaming service, I might as well just find out how I will do it. But
Yeah,
that, if I will ever do that, I need to get big first. Huh.
yeah, obviously. Yeah, there's a million ways they can go about it. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But whatever it is, it shouldn't be too expensive, because right now, you know, remember the PlayStation Now beta that launched like a few months ago?
Chance I do, yes.
Those prices were outrageous. It was something like to rent the game for a year costs more than to buy it off Amazon brand new.
Oh wow, that's outrageous.
Exactly. That kind of ridiculous shit must end. It shouldn't happen at all. The prices for renting games must be affordable. I want to be able to like pay $1 or $2 and rent the game for a week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff sounds reasonable, doesn't it?
Well, maybe yes. I don't think that rentals are bad, because rentals are cool. And rentals worked before, but rentals are getting outdated because I don't really want to travel to a rental company anymore. But rental online, yeah, that sounds good. I want that to come back because rentals are always cool. Might mean, okay, rentals were expensive if you kept the game too long. That's a fact, really.
Yeah.
But really, rentals are for games you're not sure if you like them.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much why you rent the games, just to see, because making a game is a big investment. I mean, maybe it's not a big investment for an American who earns $50,000 a year easily, but for someone like me who is
Currently unemployed, on the verge of traveling to a different country he doesn't know anything about, yes, I think that's a lot of money.
yeah, and I have to pay $80 for my games, not 60. So that's
Well,
even a worse investment.
well, you should just stop buying games at torrent until you are in a better country, like my country. I'm sorry if I keep bringing that up, but you know what? Bulgaria's the shit. I'm not talking about good shit, I'm talking about the shit.
Yeah, no, Bulgaria isn't the shit. Bulgaria is just shit.
It's the shit for it's the shit. So, if you talk about the best shit, then Bulgaria sure is the shit. But who the fuck talks about the best shit seriously?
I'm pretty sure that at least somebody does. I mean, remember?
Oh no, I'm not gonna talk about sexual fetishes.
No, remember that episode of South Park where they were fighting for the record for the biggest shit?
Oh wow, well, alright, they did talk about shit for quite a while.
Yep, exactly.
But, yeah, they did
You
that.
remember, I just love this episode. Bono didn't make the record. He is the record.
I'm sorry, I just specific, that's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. Just awesome. Anyway, let's move on. There's one more piece of news that I want to give you, and then you can give your own. Okay? Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Or do you want to go first?
Nah, I'll let you go first. That's fine.
Okay. I just want to go first because I am kind of excited for this. I'm cautiously excited about this. Like, I want to be very excited for this, but I know that if I am, I'll probably be disappointed. So you can probably guess where this is going. The Deadpool movie was officially announced for release in 2016.
I haven't known that you were excited about that. I actually thought you were like the game. Oh no, it's another Deathpool piece of shit with a jar of piss over it. Yeah, I actually imagined you to say that.
I mean, no, just because the game was horrible, that doesn't mean Deadpool is ruined forever. You know, I have the test movie, the test footage that they released, which is supposedly what the movie is going to be released to look like. It's written by the same guy who is going to do the movie. It was directed by the same guy who is going to do the movie. It stars Ryan Reynolds, who is going to be in the movie. So you know, it's basically, if they just take this one little test footage and make it into an entire movie, I'm going to be happy because this is basically what I want from a Deadpool movie.
Alright, cool. That sounds actually good. Well, I don't know if I should look forward to it. Let's see how the humor fits. Maybe you can write me or tell me in a year. You're like, alright, you remember when I said that the Deadpool game was a jar of piss out of 10? Yeah, the movie is a jar of shit out of 10.
Yeah, well, let's hope that it's not the case. I mean,
Maybe it's a 10 out of jar of piss. Harry.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that the producers of the movie are going to try and mess with it and make it more kid-friendly and that kind of stuff. But as long as they don't do that, as long as they keep it, if they keep Deadpool as who he is and who he's in the comic, I think they're going to. I think they're going to do fine. You know?
I don't think that they will pull out Superman on him though. That would be stupid.
No, what do you mean pull out Superman? Like make him all dark and gritty and stuff?
Yeah, and make him evolve and not being Deadpool right at the start. The movie must start with Deadpool and must end with Deadpool, then the movie is gonna be good.
The scriptwriter has revealed that the movie is going to start with Deadpool actually watching X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah, he's going to get. I don't know if that's what they're actually going to do because this was supposedly like the old script that he submitted first to Fox. So he doesn't know if they're going to go with this or if they're going to have him rewrite it. But in the original script, that's why it started, and he got super pissed. Deadpool got super pissed about it, and he actually goes to Fox in order to get them to make a movie about himself. And that's actually how the movie starts, with him going to Fox and taking hits and stuff. So yeah.
Huh, well then.
I think it's got a lot of potential, but I'm also a little bit cautious because, first of all, the Deadpool game wasn't very good, though.
Yeah, arguably it would have been better without ranged enemies. And with faster dying enemies in general.
And with a better script, and with better jokes.
The jokes were cheesy.
I feel like the game was written by like 3 or 4 people, and only one of them actually knew what Deadpool was all about.
Yeah, Deadpool tried to make a game is not really the thing that Deadpool would do.
Exactly. No, the thing is like there was this joke that really bothered me. Like Deadpool was like, hey, if you guys are wondering why Rogue can fly here when she can't fly in the comic, you should spend less time in your mother's basement and actually try to get laid. And I was like, serious? Did you just make that joke?
Well, I actually thought it was really fucking funny.
No, the thing is, it's not only offensive, it's only Deadpool is one of those people who are in their mother's basement and would know that Rogue he can't fly in the comic, He's basically making fun of himself in the most hypocritical way possible.
That's a good way. Alright, that's cool. And, is there anything more to add to that?
Yeah, it's basically like, Deadpool isn't the kind of guy who would make a joke like that, he always makes fun, he's the comic book nerd of comic books. Like he's like, whenever he sees Wolverine, he's not like, Wolverine, let's see which one of us is stronger. He's like, oh my god, you're fucking Wolverine! Like, look at that shit, Wolverine is in my comic! That's an awesome cameo, you know, he's like, he's one of those, he's one of us. He's one of the gamers, he's one of those no-lifers who never gets laid. You know, he's just like, so he wouldn't make that kind of, you know, if that kind of joke was in the script, it just seems like the person who has written it doesn't know enough about Deadpool to exclude something like that from the script, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically the writing, and there's also like the thing about Deadpool is that he doesn't make sense, but he doesn't make sense in his own kind of way. So when you make like there was this joke in the game where Deadpool imagines Cable as a taco, and that made no sense, but it's just, you know, it wasn't really all that funny. It just didn't make sense. Like the kind of nonsense for Deadpool is like a very specific type of nonsense, which is actually very very hard to explain properly. You just kind of have to see it while he's.
Alright. Okay, no, well then, that's Deadpool the movie for you, and there's one more thing I can talk about. Except for Destiny's big week, which I don't think is anything sort of an accomplishment, because it was to be expected. Destiny has hit, and I have played it, and I have to be quite honest, I prefer Borderlands. It's funny, it's the same game. Cool.
Yeah, the achievement you're talking about, like the Destiny being the first, the first new IP that sells over 1 million copies, right?
It's Bungie, come on! Also, it's hype as fuck. The hype has started 5 years ago, hasn't it? Yeah. If a hype survives for 5 years, you can. It's a sturdy, massive piece of hype.
Yep, true.
Okay, I'm sorry, that was a shit reference, wasn't it?
Kinda.
Alright, cool.
It's still true though.
It's it. I still prefer Borderlands though. I think the game is good. Yes, I'm not mad at anyone who likes it, but I prefer Borderlands.
I've played both for just a little bit. Like I've played maybe like a few hours of Destiny back when the beta was out, and about 20-30 minutes of Borderlands, and I didn't enjoy Borderlands at all. I don't think it's like my type of game, but I was surprised by how much I like Destiny. I mean, I haven't bought it, mostly because I'm currently unemployed, so I try to cut down on how many new games I buy, so I can exactly spend $80 on a brand new video game. But I was actually surprised by how much I enjoyed it. It was I'm not really into first-person shooters. I'm not at all into MMOs, but no, Destiny, my kind of thing.
Yeah, well, you can buy you can play it. I mean, go ahead. The problem with Destiny, the biggest problem I have is the only you can save the world story, because that story has been told 700,000 times on the same server.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, they could have come up with something better if they announced that everyone can change the world. Only you can change it, it's not the right story to go for that. On the different side, no, we have another online game which released, which is Archage, which is revealing to be the best game I've ever played in a while. It's so good, in fact, I was like, oh, this is a free-to-play World of Warcraft. You know what I'm gonna do now? Reactivating my World of Warcraft account. And I got a month of gameplay for free.
Yeah, I gotcha. Pretty much everything that I've heard about Destiny is that the storyline is just terrible, the writing is laughable, and the voice acting is pretty bad. I mean, do you remember back when the beta was out, and everybody made fun of Peter Dinklage for that one line, "That wizard came from the moon." Remember that?
True.
Yeah, so, basically, yeah, what I'm trying to say is that people don't really play that kind of game for the story.
Yeah, that's true. Anyhow, is there anything else we can say?
Yeah.
Because we are 1 hour 15 in, and I don't really want to keep on talking forever, so is there anything important you have in your mind?
Tits. Other than
Tits.
that,
Alright, tits. We should end on that note.
no. Yep.
Goodbye.
Tits. 4 tits.
But maybe you should just do the Yahtzee approach and just say something and then massively end the video just by. But that's unprofessional, isn't it?
It's very unprofessional.
Alright then, goodbye till the next episode of the podcast, and if we ever get a third episode in a release, in a whatever nearly close to what I can call a steady stream of episodes, we are only 200,000 podcasts remaining. Yes. If we ever go to 75 episodes, there's only 100 podcasts who have as much as me.
Woohoo!
Well, chances are we get notoriety in. Or not. Because there's still the TGS podcast and everybody's going for that. Oh, I'm sorry, the co-optional podcast. Well, it's the best podcast on the internet, so. And side scrollers as well.
And beyond.
Yes. In this way, Joe, we are ending this, and thanks for listening if you have listened. If you have just tuned in and now at the end, then I don't know how you did that, and you should probably try to change the layout of your YouTube, so start is start and stop is stop again. Yeah, there actually is a mod which makes it reverse, which is stupid. It's a troll mod to troll your friends. We should end on this note. Goodbye.
Tits!